Welcome to the Mad Men finale number 1.
I am Deb.
My name's Chris.
So we got to watch the season finale the other night. Well, mid-season finale.
Yes.
My bad.
This is like, we get 2 finales here.
Just so you guys know, there are a lot of spoilers. Watch Mad Men and then come back and watch this. Let's start off with Dawn.
Dawn Draper. We saw a lot of different changes with Dawn this entire half season. He is not the same Dawn that we once knew.
Dawn and Megan break up. Like, this whole season has been kind of weird so far.
It really has.
It's like one episode they're kind of happy, the next episode they're just upset. She doesn't want him to come. They just kind of mutually agreed that it just wasn't working.
It's so strange. Like, they definitely aren't acting like a married couple.
Dawn received a breach of contract letter from Cutler. Whoa.
Which, it was such a stupid move.
Yeah,
it wasn't even.
It was a setup, pretty much. Oh my god, his secretary acting like a fool. I will be there for you.
She was, you know, she's such a doll at the same time.
She is. She's adorable.
Oh,
I just got like spit her. She's adorable.
For once, he was just
Not
pushing
interested.
away a girl.
Yeah, for once he wasn't interested.
It's new.
So the fact that he's been kind of working under Peggy this season has been really awkward for him. And awkward for Peggy, too. She almost didn't even know how to work with him. But this last episode, he actually kind of gave the reins to her. He had her lead the whole meeting for the Burger Chef, a pitch, which was, she did amazingly.
Oh my gosh, she did incredible.
But you know what? He's been her mentor all these years. He convinces Ted Shah to be included into the McCann buyout merger thing that's going on for another 5 years. Ted Shah does not want anything to do with advertising right now. He's over it.
He's done. How did that happen?
I don't know how in 5 minutes Dawn was just able to convince.
We were in that meeting.
And then not only does he convince Ted, but he actually accepts being on board for another 5 years.
That was like, everyone, I mean, should have just been like, what? That last scene with Bert Cooper doing his little dancey dance,
he starts to cry. It's the first time you see emotion from Dawn Draper in quite some time.
My original thought, I mean, this probably isn't even correct, but I originally kind of saw it as Bert Cooper obviously has died, but he is done with advertising. He's free from the world.
The way I just saw it was maybe he was thinking, I just signed up for another 5 years. What the heck was I thinking?
Yeah.
And he's upset, or maybe it just occurred to him that Bert Cooper is passed away. One thing I noticed that was a nice change for Dawn is during this entire episode, like, all of this stuff was happening and he did not pick up a drink, not even once. You're starting to see those changes from Dawn that you wouldn't normally
He's
see.
not controlling anymore. He's kind of letting things happen.
Go.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about Megan Draper.
So we were kind of looking into, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there have been a lot of theories floating around, actually since last season. They believe that Megan Draper has something to do with the Charles Manson killings, which is actually very fascinating.
Yeah.
If she was connected in any way. Now, I know some people have gone as far to say that she is the Sharon Tate of the story, but I don't know, one of the things I kind of have to disagree with that is this has been a very historical based show, and everything that has happened already stayed true to history.
He's never really made anything up or reinvented history in his own way.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think he's not going to just change the path all of a sudden. And,
no.
And Megan Draper is all of a sudden going to be, you know, Sharon Tate.
And we can put a link below on
link.
some of the articles that we found that were just like, that is insane.
I think it's pretty cool,
so you can look into it. Oh, one of the things that was crazy was
the guy at the
party. There's a photo comparison. We'll put that one up.
We're thinking that could be Charles Manson at her party.
Yeah.
That she danced with. Now,
that was crazy. There's too many coincidences. Like, things are tying up a little too well. And either she'll be a part of it, or my other theory is that she's not necessarily going to be a part of it, but the killings are gonna be so close to home for her that maybe it's gonna terrify her, scare her, and then she's gonna want to go back to Dawn because she's terrified, and maybe Dawn's gonna be there
next door or something
to embrace her. Yeah. I mean,
it could be anything.
Maybe that will be the thing that'll bring them back together. I don't know.
And we do know that the moon landing was in July, which is where this last episode ended off, and the killings were in August. And
yes,
we're on track for that.
We are. So that means like that's like the next event. Roger Sterling. The cool thing about Roger is that he still has Dawn's back. I mean, we've seen all these seasons. They're kind of like brothers in a sense, you know?
His daughter.
Things went crazy with his daughter this season.
She became a total hippie and just kind of possessed by this like creepy cult.
What's
of
sad,
hippies.
what I find very sad about it is that she dumped her family.
Yes, that was
She has a
disturbing.
child.
I think it was just like that weird compound. It was
Maybe
similar
them.
to like the Charles Manson stuff, like brainwashing.
Oh yeah, you're
You know?
right. After Bert's passing, which Roger took not very well, you kind of see him change.
Yeah, he's actually working.
Peggy has had quite the few seasons.
Yes, she has.
And dealing with Ginsburg, who went crazy with the computers. Well, okay, what happened to Ginsburg?
What was that? What was that?
Don't trust the computer.
And I'm gonna.
That was such a scary moment, though. I
was-
thought it was gonna be like a ring
Or a bracelet.
or a bracelet. Here's a friendship bracelet, Peggy. So sorry, back to Peggy.
Not only has she managed her work life, she's even mirrored it into her home life. Like managing a building and stuff, and having tenants, and having the little boy downstairs, Julio.
Okay, this whole thing with Julio has been kind of weird because you see him go in and out of her apartment. She seemed kind of like annoyed by him. And then this last episode, he goes up to her, hugs her, and she got emotional. Part of me was like, why is she getting emotional? I didn't know she was that connected to this kid. And the other part of me started thinking, whoa, her kid. What happened to her kid? Okay, that story was just kind of left
It was there
in
and then
the
it was
air.
Gone.
Maybe there will be some closure with that.
Because it sounded like, hey, your mom knows what's best for you. And in her mind, she did what's best for her kid. Was obviously she was just getting started in her career.
So then we have Ted Shaw,
Shaw.
crazy person, in the
turned crazy
airplane
too.
with the sun-kissed people.
Maybe it was the computer.
It was the technology in the airplane.
In the airplane.
That was like kind of a cool way to start the episode.
It was,
I gotta say. I was
yes.
like, what? What is he doing? Oh my god!
I was freaking out for
Why
a
do you
minute.
think
Oh,
he
my
is
turn.
so depressed?
Maybe he's just kind of angsty because he doesn't have Peggy and he really wants Peggy.
And we don't ever see his wife.
No.
We don't ever see his kids.
You're
so
right.
we don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
that relationship.
And he hates work.
I don't know what's in store for him. To be
I don't
honest.
want to say he's suicidal because we've seen 2 suicides on Mad Men so far. I feel like that's kind of overdone.
And then on top of everything, like, he's sitting there talking about how he doesn't want to be a part of advertising anymore. And then he accepts the merger for another 5 years. Should we talk about Joan?
Let's talk about Joan for like a hot
Joni,
second.
she's so upset at Dawn. Like, she hates him all of a sudden. She's like, no, I don't want him in the company anymore.
She was like exactly like that.
She's just so negative lately.
What's wrong with her?
No.
No
Hey,
reason?
Joan, do you think it... No.
Joan, do you have an idea? Maybe?
No.
Oh, okay. Could you tell me?
No.
Okay. She's
No.
kinda driving me-
I know that Don costs him money, but he's also been there for her for so many other things. What, just forget about all that?
It is not about the money.
No.
There's something else
There
there.
is something else that's bugging her. She's one of the partners, and maybe she is just trying to be heard. It's not that she's purposely being like, let me do the opposite of everybody else, but she's like,
making her point.
no, yeah, making her point. It's like, no, I don't feel like he should come back. I already thought we were going to let him go, and now somehow he worked his way back in here. Maybe she's thinking, if I would have done that, I wouldn't be allowed to because I'm a woman.
True.
I wouldn't have been able to work my way up in
point.
here. But because, he's a man and he's Don Draper, he can do whatever he wants.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Why should I have to bend over backwards to vote him in when
Yeah.
he's already done so much damage to the company?
I can see her doing that.
What were your thoughts on Bert Cooper's dancing?
For a second there, I wasn't really paying attention. I'm like, who's singing?
At first, I was like, this is not making sense. I don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable with this because Mad Men hasn't shown really much campy kind of, you know what I mean? Like, they don't do, like, funny things like that.
Kind
like,
of a cheesy quirkiness.
yeah, but then after his number finished and Don got somewhat emotional, I got it all of a sudden. It was just like, oh my god, that was such a beautiful exit for him.
Yeah.
Now, what a lot of people don't know is that he actually did Broadway when he was younger, in the
That's so
60s.
neat.
Yeah. So it's really cool to kind of see him kind of doing that. It actually
Yeah.
all makes sense. Yeah.
Tie.
With his cute bow tie. And it was like the dad.
He was a
Of-
dad.
of
All those
everybody.
crazy fools needed a dad.
I guess the last thing we really want to talk about is the main event of the last episode, which was...
The moon landing.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that fascinate me the most about this show. The historical events that happen.
Yes.
Not that I'm excited that these historical events happen. Some of them are very tragic, but I hear these stories from my parents and all that stuff. So I've always kind of wanted to see what it was like to live through some of these moments in time. So it's so fascinating to me to sit there and watch these characters go through those events. Overall thoughts on the finale?
I thought this was a good finale. It was a good halfway point.
Mhm.
It drives me nuts thinking that it can go anywhere, so you have to keep thinking like, well, I can't develop a character too much because we're stopping.
There still are so many questions of how are they going to wrap these characters up? There's only 7 episodes left.
Yeah.
Spring of 2015, people. Like I said, I don't even know how I'm going to make it there. I'll probably be rewatching all the seasons for my 50 billionth time.
Oh my gosh, Deb does not watch any other show.
Alright guys, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye!
Okay, bye!
Bye!
Do you think we're being driving nuts? Driving nuts?
We're gonna be driving nuts?
Are we driving nuts?
Let's drive some nuts!
We should do a musical version.
We should.
Of this. Don and Megan split up my phone. Received breach of contract letter from Cutler.
Peggy has like a love, I was gonna say love hate and it came out. Oh cool, look at it's right there, and then mostly everybody. Ready?
Alright,
Okay, bye.